on the again slightly to you in the studio.
Yes, how are you doing, sir?
Well, staying very strong. Looking out the window, it is a bright weather out there. I can't wait for the spring to get closer so that we can also change the outfit that we put on here in United Kingdom, especially for those of us that are fed up of the big jacket that we travel around. I mean, my wife keep telling me that she doesn't know what I carry in my jacket, but for whatever reason, that jacket it seems to be as heavy load as what you can think of. And I do say that sometimes you never know whether the weather will be a very slight one. And for somebody like me that have stayed here for over 2 decades, you can never get used to the weather, like they say.
Of course, that is so true. Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you in our North London studios. I'm Archie. Yes, our studios are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, interestingly, let's touch on this one first. The president's visit yesterday. Today is coming to Lagos today. Yeah. Now, have you had any updates on it? Anything? Is this coming on?
Yes, from what we are aware, the president, will be in Lagos. Let me see if we have any feed or any conversation or any information. But we do know that there's quite a lot of security present already. As we do know, when the president is coming to Lagos, the question is, should we even have a whole economic shutdown because of the visit of the president? That is the question. We do know that Boris Johnson moved around here in the United Kingdom, from one end to the other. But the question is, does it mean that when Boris Johnson is traveling to North London or the Southeast, and that literally means that, the whole economic is paralyzed? This is exactly what is going to be happening in Lagos today, because when the president travels, we do know how the African president travel. They do travel with a kind of a big convoy, and not just that alone, other businesses are kind of shut down, and that also have impact, to people that are traveling, like we did say yesterday. But like I said, yes, I can tell you from the screen here on my other channel, we can confirm that there is already preparation for the fertilizer plant commission. President Buhari arrives in Lagos. This is the screenshot that I'm looking at. I can see that the aircraft has landed. This is coming just about few hours ago, if I can say. I think it's just even live. That means that it's just actually arriving. I could see, the Nigerian Air Force tarmac in Lagos, and I believe it might be moved maybe with the helicopter, which I can also see on my screen here. But let me come back again to you in the studio while I continue to monitor, the screen here on this side in North London.
Yes, listeners, I will bring you more updates as and when we get it. But let me say good morning to Kennedy. Kennedy, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for joining us as well. And as I say all the time, every time I'll come on, I'll tell you, I dug my hat out to all our listeners on the African continent, because as I say all the time, it costs you an arm and a leg to do so. But you follow us genuinely, you are always there religiously, and I salute you. Look my heart out for you. But now let's move on to some of the other stories that's making the rounds in Nigeria. Over to you, Yoruba.
Well, quite a lot is happening this morning. Yesterday, not a very great news, a good one coming from the southern Kaduna, where multiple lives the problem with Nigeria is that incidents happen, but sometimes it could take 24 to 48 hours before this information gets to even in Nigeria, not to talk about those of us outside Nigeria. And sometimes the news does get to those of us outside Nigeria than those back in Nigeria as well. So yesterday there was another terrorist attack on the southern Kaduna that eventually made about almost 30 lives to be lost. The question then again is, for how long do we have to wait, for incident of such to continue to happen? So let's go into that story a little bit, then we go into some of the other headlines as well. Again, terrorists raided Kaduna, Zamfara, killed 62, adopted 62, and also 70 houses were burnt, to the total ground. 25 persons, including 2 military personnel, were reportedly killed, while a riot policeman allegedly shot a passerby, and no fewer than 70 houses were razed on Sunday following an attack by terrorists on Agban Kagoro in the Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. The governor declared a curfew yesterday. The two local governments are in the southern Kaduna area of the state, and they both share the boundaries. In Zamfara State, terrorists killed 37 persons, kidnapped 62 others in Duyi and Dora village in Bangudu local government area, while 20 others were killed in Ghana Kiyawa village in Bukuyu local. The question you then start asking yourself is, where are all the security operatives? How do they allow such magnitude of incident to happen? And I can tell you reason. There's lack of security operatives in those areas, and likewise communication is as poor as you can think of as well. I'm going to touch on some other headline and slightly come back. The Inspector General of Police is working on new police salary, and police officers on the 26th, which is about 4 days from now, are planning to go on what we call a strike for pension and salary as well. But according to the headline, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 2, Adeyinka Adeleke, has said the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, is working on implementation of the increment in salaries and allowance of police in line with the approval of the federal government. So that is coming from that headline, and then we take the other headline that comes straight to you in the studio. 14 minutes past the hour. APC Chairman Almakura Aduma Yari orders lend faith as aspirant screening we hold today. Federal government has scrapped the PCR test for fully vaccinated travelers, just as those that are outside the UK as well. Most of these COVID restriction that also shut down almost the whole economic of different countries around the globe, and Nigeria being included as well. So federal government scrapped PCR tests for fully vaccinated travelers. It doesn't seem to be going well in Cross River State, as security operatives has now taken over the National Assembly, the House Assembly, after a court judgment. The armed police on Tuesday morning took over the Cross River State House of Assembly. The police drawn from the anti-kidnap squad and regular policemen were also seen around the route leading to the House of Assembly. Movement into the Assembly complex on Diamond Hill was restricted. Their presence followed the High Court ruling on Monday, sacking 20 lawmakers in the state for defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the APC. Again, it's electionary time, as a lot of people are saying also that, and I'm going to be, yesterday we couldn't give the exact time for the election, where millions of Yorubas and the Igbo are saying that it is a self-determination, it is no election, and that already is the message that has been, brought out even with the petition and the awareness. But in 325 days, 12 hours, 43 minutes, and the seconds is going down, every Nigerians will know their fate, whether a country will still exist in the terms of those that want, an election, or those that disagree that election should hold at all, and that is the message. So, 20 lawmakers that were part of the People Democratic Party, PDP, moved to APC, and that doesn't seem that they will continue as the House lawmakers, and that is the reason why on the High Court ruling, they've all now been sacked. We'll take one more, come back again to you in the studio. It is the political time in Nigeria, and you can see all the players moving around, trying to tell Nigerians. I had the opportunity to listen to what we call the space, where a lot of people are making use on Twitter to get audience, and then we have people speak. Part of the one I listened to were groups of people that were involved or participated during the NSAS. And you could tell that Nigerians are angry, but they're not too sure whether, their anger, will be brought out on the street again after the massacre of almost 100 innocent Nigerians. From that conversation that I listened to, witnesses that were there, during the killings of the innocent Nigerians that were even raising their flags, that were singing the national anthem, but were eventually killed by the same, Nigerian security. The Lagos state government is aware of this. The national party of the APC is aware of this. The presidency is aware, but nobody, even after the the white paper that I've also pinpoint of the killing, nobody has been charged, or nobody has been put into a court trial. And the message is from those conversations that I was listening to, that Nigerians are just parrots, does not have any action. It is Star Radio UK. I've come back again to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, our Nigerians only parrots, cannot do nothing. That means just talk, no action. Well. With it, 325 days more hours and some seconds before the 2023 election. That countdown there, we're bringing it more every day. But the question is, do Nigerians want this election to happen? Some will say yes, some do. Others are saying no, they want out of it. And I'm asking, would that election be now a form of referendum? Because if they vote against the government or the various political parties, the main political parties, and maybe get someone else, maybe that'll be a protest vote, and that might turn things around. But what do you think? Defections going on here and there? Wow, we'll be telling you more about that in a moment. But let me read a few of the comments that have come through, and then we'll go back to Olayomi Koiki. Northern part of Nigeria are ripping from the monsters they sow. They created terrorism, and it's now tearing the region apart. The thing is, if it's tearing only that particular region apart, would have said, okay, you are ripping what you sowed, but it is spreading across the country where people who have got nothing to do with that are also facing such issues there. But what listeners, it is already UK. So I'm not Koiki, I'm not London, Sicily. Let's look at the vaccination. So now somebody is supposed to be traveling today from London to Nigeria. He doesn't need to be vaccinated. He wouldn't check anything.
Well, that is if you are fully vaccinated from United Kingdom. According to fully vaccinated inbound travelers. So if I'm meant to be, or anyone is going from UK, America, Canada, and you're going on a visit to Nigeria, as long as you are fully vaccinated, according to the federal government said on Monday, that you would no longer require to take a pre-departure PCR COVID-19 test, and likewise on the arrival. The federal government said they would, however, be subject to rapid antigen tests at the airport by the NCDC within the arrival all of the airport free of charge. When they say free of charge, you definitely have to have extra fee, because that means the government has given them the opportunity to extort as they do all the time. I know that the new airport from which is going to be commissioned today, we continue to monitor, the standard, which is the key. Is different to, to open or commission a new airport is a different thing to make sure that the staff in there are doing the diligent work rather than extorting or making abusive to those arriving into the country, especially a first-timer that is traveling out of the country do face a lot of problem from the immigration officer, because they know they are what we call the JJC.
Just make sure that they just take some money from them. Nigerians are slaves in their space. That's what I say there. Okay. Now let's move on. I mean, before we go on to some of the other stories. Now the president going to open or inaugurate the new airport. Is it a new airport? So it's not the Murtala Mohammed airport. A new airport that have been.
Well, just next to it is the new one that is terminal. So it's a new terminal that is going to be fully in operation after a lot of work. I remember having the opportunity to see it while I traveled a few times back to Nigeria. But like I said, we have to wait and see how this new terminal operation will be, because it's a different thing to have a terminal and it's a different thing to make sure that the system is working, the baggage, areas is working, the procedure is working, for the benefit of those at home and those that will be traveling inside and outside the country as well.
Okay, listeners, for our listeners, those of you outside the country who want to be traveling down, we want to make sure that you understand what is going on, so that you don't fall prey to anything. But Amaya is saying it's a new terminal. Thank you very much, Amaya. It's a new terminal. All right then. Okay, let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, Young.
Well, again, let's come back as we continue to monitor the news coming out. Pay the doctors' February salaries. The Nigerian Medical Association urged Kogi State Governor. This is someone that is also, having the intention to become the Nigerian president. I was looking at last week some of the pay slip or the payment to some of the workers in Kogi State. You have to ask the question, why they are being paid at a very, very low wages. The Nigerian Medical Association has urged the governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, to direct the full payment of February salaries of the medical doctors working with the Kogi State government. The reason why, not that we don't have competent doctors or nurses or midwives in Nigeria, but the problem they're having is, when they work with the government, which is one of the easiest way to, to get employment in that sector, because with the private sector, there's tendency that there's not a lot of availability. So with the government, public hospital, it is quite open. They need a lot of staffing, but they are not being well taken care of. So that means there will be compromise. Some of them will then end up having their own private clinics, and they might end up stealing some of the medical equipment from the state government straight to their own private sector. While I was running a program this morning, somebody did talk about that, say that by the time a Yoruba nation comes into existence, we must not even tolerate any private hospital and private, education sector, because that means, there might be a kind of compromise as well. We do know that in UK, those that have the means do attend private hospital and likewise private colleges as well. The Nigerian Medical Association made the call in a communique jointly signed by its chairman, Dr. Makoji Oyigo, and the secretary, Dr. Chimeze Udubun, on Tuesday in Lokoja today. It read, the statement observed that the salary of the medical doctors working with the government of Kogi State was in the percentage of 69.79%, 97%. The meeting further observed that the payment in percentage was done despite lack of notice of invitation for negotiation to the members. So you can see that it is not going very well in Kogi State for the doctors that are working there. Let's come and look at some other headline as we continue to say this is Starr Radio UK. The central bank forecast 3.24% growth in 2022 despite rising inflation. I'm not sure how that is going to happen, because we know millions of Nigerians are out of job, especially the youth. Millions of Nigerians, as we speak, are out of university because of the current strike. Millions of Nigerians do not have access to the basic things of life. And as of today, almost 80 million Nigerians are people living in extreme poverty, according to the world data. CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, forecast 3.24% growth in the 2022 despite the rising inflation. The Central Bank of Nigeria has projected that the Nigerian economy will grow by 3.24% in 2022 in spite of the rising inflationary challenges occasioned by the global social economic event. Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the CBN governor, made this known yesterday while presenting a communique from the Apex Bank. What do you expect, the government spokesman on CBN to say? You don't expect him to come out and say Nigeria economy is not going to grow. Let's come back and look at the forex this morning. It's about almost 770 naira to a pound, and that is about almost 600 naira to a dollar. So if you are going to be buying stuff outside Nigeria, because Nigeria is not producing country, is a consumable country, you will definitely go to the black market and be paying almost 650 for the exchange rate and almost 800 if you're exchanging to the pounds as well. And that is the problem that a lot of Nigerians are facing, today as well. So he said the implementation, International Monetary Fund, IMF, also projected the economy to grow at 2.7%, while the federal government projected. It's a different thing to project, it's a different thing to make it work on the ground for millions of Nigerians that are doing small little trade. Let's go and look at the business again this morning. NPA Committee to Elimination of Systematic Corruption at the Nation's Seaport. Almost every sector in Nigeria has one kind of corrupt system operating in it, either indirectly or directly. According to the Managing Director of Nigerian Port Authority, Muhammad Bello Koko, has reiterated the organization's commitment to the elimination of systematic corruption and other criminal practice at the nation's seaport. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians, especially those importing into the country, will tell you that that is something that they've been listening to for the last how many years. And these are some of the reasons also that those that are demanding a total disintegration out of Nigeria believe that, you know, the seaport that is in Lagos, that is meant to function for most part of the southwest, even though as a country called Nigeria, the money is moved from the seaport in Lagos, then also then used to put out a rail to Niger Republic. And you wonder what kind of transaction a Yoruba man or an Igbo man or an Hausa man wants to do in Niger, where they are putting a train track to Niger, rather than making sure that the community in Nigeria are well connected and the security as well. It was equally affirmed the authority position to operate in compliance with the standard operating procedure as stipulated in the Nigerian Port Process Manual. A project is funded to enhance operational excellence, service delivery at all Nigerian seaport and terminal. Like I said, Nigerian seaport, one of the most criminal elements, just as the NNPC, both needs to be scrapped and have a proper international auditor to look into that, because for years, people like Atiku was also making use of that seaport where he made so much money before involving into the politics that they are all playing today. So I'm going to take one more, slightly come again back to you in the studio. It is still Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's look at the health and well-being of millions of Nigerians this morning. Millions of Nigerians, like I said, are part of the first country in the world where they are part of the capital poverty of the world. Federal government restate commitment towards food fortification for improved health. I'm not sure how they're going to be doing that, but let's read a little bit before coming to you in the studio. The federal government, alongside players in the food processing industry across the country, has restated commitment to ensuring adequate food fortification for the better health of our citizens. Addressing the participants at the 4th Annual Nigerian Food Processing and Nutrition Leadership Forum, a hybrid section in Lagos, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage, assured stakeholders that the federal government will continue to support efforts to fortify food to micronutrients. Mr. Archie, I was reading again the situation in Ukraine and likewise in Russia. Do you know that Ukraine still have enough food that can survive them for another 3 to 5 years in terms of their stock, though they are currently at war? Let me come back now to you in the studio.
Wow, listeners are interested. Yes, they can have enough stock to take them for that period of time. I will never doubt it, because they think ahead. Unlike us, people, I mean, those who are in power are just looking at just, I mean, hard in their pockets, whatever the state has got. But interestingly, Amayo says a nation that thrives is a reflection of its leaders. Therefore, like they're saying, for the leadership of that nation, we're thinking ahead, they were able to do that. But when it comes to our part of the world, somebody say, I beg to differ. But let's talk about the doctors issue that you did talk about. Those in the state, those who are working, a statement came in, you read a statement from somebody who posted about, he said, when Oduduwa becomes a nation, Yoruba nation, there will be no private hospitals or private. But I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, If we do that, then we are going to stifle the talents of people, because we need to allow the private entities to operate, and then the government entities, the public ones, to operate as well. But what is important is that the cross checks that needs to be done, the checks and the balances need to be done. We need to instill things like that there, so that there will be proper discipline. So you are working with government, and you know that you are doing that work as if it is your own personality, and you don't need to rob it. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't know what you think about it.
Well, I mean, you're quite right. I mean, the opinion of that individual, will definitely be different with the majority opinion. I mean, having a private, organization is a private business of yours. So if you, as an example, work with the NHS, and then you're gonna have your own private, sector working as well, then you must adhere to the rules and regulation set up, either by the government or by that same institution that you're working for. But what we have in Nigeria today is everybody that works in the public sector have become a private investor themselves. And that takes us from the civil servant. Like I say, the civil servant knows about all the PPP, the project across the country, and they've now become their own contractor. So rather than focusing on the implementation of the project, they are also the one, doing the project, and they end up, not able to do it because, they're working in the office, which is meant to be Monday to Friday, and at the end of it, and they're still trying to make sure that they monitor a project that they should have been given to, to the public, because the public is meant to come for the project. So what I think is going to happen is there will be definitely private institution, but the question is, how the government is able, to manage and work on them, so that we do not see the compromise by doctors that are meant to be in the morning attending to patients in the public sector, but they are already still in their own private sector, doing their own job, or stealing from the public sector to their own private institution.
Yeah, even in Ghana, some of them, what they do is like when we have scan machines and stuff like that, or MMRS machines and stuff like that. People just go and then break it down, okay, so that the private one, they'll just direct you to go to a private person to go and do that. So instead of them to maybe government using the government one, they'll just direct you to go to their own private thing. That's what we do, and I think Africa as a whole, we need to get to a point where we purge. Here people rob. They steal. Oh my goodness! If you go into the proper business, you tell the deal that goes on. But there is a bit of somebody will say humanity there. That you think that okay, I can steal a bit, not all, but ours when it comes. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. What do you think about all that? Because again, you look at the central government and you're asking yourself, what they are paying them is not enough. There is inflation. There are challenges. Everybody is trying to do something about their lives and the expenditure that they have. So they have to find ways and means to survive. That's what is going on. But we have to get to a point where all these things ceases, and we know that whatever we are doing for our country and doing for the humanity as well. We will get there one day. Somebody will say yes, others will say no. And what do you think? Not minding the consequences on the economy.
Media as well. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we look back into, more in the business as well, because we do know that a lot of millions of Nigerians, are having big impact, especially, with the current situation when you look at so many areas as well. Stakeholders, CBN 204 up to last week. we saw, the power section that came down completely because of, again, lack of investment in that. But before we go further, I'm going to take this comment quickly. Coming from Olatunji, says the only solution is to embark on a large-scale agricultural project in Yoruba land or in Nigeria, because a lot of people will say, like Frank will say, we're still in Nigeria, but as much as a lot of campaign, for those that want to exit the Yoruba out of Nigeria. Also, the public health sector, according to the same person, in Nigeria is already damaged and destroyed. Once again, we do say good morning, good afternoon to those of you that are watching us from different parts of the globe. So I'm going to move swiftly into the conversation on the social media. Throughout yesterday, it was all about the atrocious southern Kaduna, and you tend to ask yourself again and again, where is the government, when it comes to the insecurity in the country? 7 years down the line, the APC promised security will be dealt with, but as they're winding down, the PDP is saying they will fix the problem. APC say we will fix the problem, but the question is, who is going to fix the problem? Can the problem really be fixed? Let's take a look at some of what is trending. Dr. Maduka Ogwalaka says, Professor of Medicine, Francis Duru Road, if the Igbos want to go because they don't want to be part of Nigeria, is it not better to let them go than to kill them because you want them to be part of you? This question keeps coming back. I mean, again, somebody called this morning and said to me, if we don't want to be part of Nigeria, must it be a crime to be in a country that you don't want to be part of? When, according to the UN Charter, they say that we can leave a country to have your own nation, especially if you are the indigenous people. And while I was having a conversation this morning, I did talk about, the Queen Elizabeth II, the current queen, that she is not older than the Yoruba land before the amalgamation itself in 1914. She's 95 years old, and we continue to pray for her because of her health, which is already something of discussion already on the public space. But the question is, I was looking at the treaty that was signed by the previous Alaafin of Oyo, not the current one, the father of the previous one, some 134 years ago, when they had a treaty with the Yoruba and the Britain and the Queen. And the question then is, what kind of relationship can we have when we eventually leave Nigeria to become a Nigeria that everybody is trying to become a president, but rather it is not being done properly? Because even if you look at it, the Igbo is meant to be the next president of the country called Nigeria, but I'm not sure that is going to happen. So that is why Dr. Maduka is saying, if the Igbos wants to go because they don't want to be part of Nigeria, is it not better to let them go than to kill them because you want them to be part of you? So that is that. On David Odoye. David Odoye is an investigative journalist. He's also to run out of Nigeria for his own safety. According to him, by the way, the woman who engineered this entire depicle, Toyosi Ogunseye, was quietly promoted away from BBC Nigeria and shunted to London. The victim got fired and slapped with grudging compensation. The perpetrator got a promotion. That is the kind of place the BBC is. So I'm not sure. I consider he's trending on number 6 on Nigerian space. But again, I will have to know a bit further of what that conversation that led to, him being trending this morning. So, again, let's look at some of the other trending on social media. Amnesty International Nigeria, at Amnesty Nigeria, today is the day 10 of a peaceful protest where women in Nigeria are demanding an end to discrimination. Amnesty International called on the National Assembly to reconsider the gender bills and ensure their speedy passage. We take one more, come back now to you in the studio at 11:42. According to Inchi at Inchi 201, information reaching us now from an intel has it that Nigerian Army and the DSS are currently planning to carry out an attack on the people of Onitsha, Igboze local government of Ebonyi State, today, the 22nd of March 2022. In the southeast, it has become like a training ground for the military, with the international community are not really looking into and talking about. This is Star Radio UK. I come back now to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, quite side comments coming from social media front as well. But let me read what Amayo is saying, and then I'll ask a couple of questions, and then we will bring our things to a close. Now, Amayo says a lot of people when we're looking at the private sector and the government or the public sector, how we should all operate. We can operate hand in hand, and we can get good out of that. They said resuscitate agricultural sector, free and compulsory education up to secondary school, free healthcare with contributions to Yoruba health services, etc. So those are some of the blueprints that he thinks that needs to be used to get the Yoruba nation once it's formed or when it's formed into place. It's a repeal Land Ownership Act, repeal Road Use Act, and active justice system. If all this can be implemented, I tell you that would be heaven.
Well, I mean, this was actually what was, during the western region of the late Chief of Afem Awolowo. I think a lot of people forget to understand that, when Nigeria eventually was merged in 1914, and then, the election that we know that was a fraudulent one in 1959 that led to the independence of 1960. All the conversation was being held at Lancaster House between 57 and 1958 until the Independence Day. We had what they call the regional government. That means every region from the southwest to the southeast and the north were all operating on different constitutions, and there was a speed, which was what people continue to say, that those in their 60s and 70s enjoy those kind of facility that Amayo is talking about, compared to millions of Nigerians today that are not even enjoying, not because the resources is not there. We have the resources, we have the manpower, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be circulating. And I was listening to one of the the children of the late fella Nicola Kokuti with an interview granted on one of the TV stations yesterday that says that if only the same politicians would do as they do to themselves in terms of opportunity, in terms of what they give to themselves, that means it would have been better for everybody. But rather, like Buhari traveled to London for a good healthcare, but doesn't care about the healthcare system in Nigeria. And every politician leaves Nigeria, to go to other countries and allow their children, to study outside, but doesn't have the same opportunity for the same Nigerians at home, because millions of Nigerians are at home now because of this kind of quality of, not enough of education system that is working during the program.
Okay. Now, Amayo continues. Free education had been practiced in the Yoruba part of Nigeria before independence. Somebody will say, yes, it's all well and good, but now the population has increased, and therefore, what is the way forward? But I know that it can be really, because the resources and everything that Nigeria has, if they be diligent in what they are doing, there should be money around to keep people. To keep what they call it, keep body and soul together. But it looks like we don't have that. Yoruba have been a country before Nigeria independence in 1960. That's why they introduced the federal system, which was perfect, but we don't seem to see it. Some bits they are doing whatever they want. You go to the north, people are having their own laws there. You cannot come and operate. But when you come to the south, you want to do something of the sort. Different ball games there. But you want to add the comments with, feel free to do so. Yomi, about the women's equality march or protest that's going to be taking place in Nigeria. When is it supposed to take place?
Well, it's been going on for the last 10 days, according to Amnesty International. There's a bill that doesn't represent, the women, gender, and that is why they've been protesting. But I'm not sure whether, there will be a change on that, but we'll have to continue to monitor. A lot of women have been suppressed and subject to inhumane, in the system. But like I said, we hope, there will be a change to that. If otherwise, again, we just have to wait and see what happens.
Now, when it comes to the Senate, how many women do we have there from the top of your head? Do you know?
I would say maybe just about 10, if not a little bit less than that.
Wow. How many are they?
The total, the total when we come about the total senator that we have in Nigeria in today, Nigerians I think this is the 9th Senate. Let's give a quick update on that. I think we have in total 109 seats at the moment. Yeah, in the Senate. So 109. Yeah, and we have 2 representing from each of the constituency, from each of the state. Yeah.
Well, we
yeah, 109. The Senate is.
I mean, like I said, and as scholars at the time, they say, make a statement that when you educate a woman, you educate the whole nation. Because if we empower them, they are able to empower, I mean, the youth and their children. I mean, because of their level of education, the old guys are still there just trying to pad their pockets with all the resources or the money that is coming from the state. That's why they difficult one. Yoruba ethnic had been producing university graduates as far back as 1860. The first Northern graduate was in 1958. Wow, Amayo, that's a good work you are doing today, giving me all those information, researching information. Thank you very, very much. Yomi, before we go.
Well, the last one from here, Olatunji Officer, Nigerian police force population is just below 170,000. They cannot police the whole of Nigeria with a population of 205 million. And also, according to Pastor Moade Sonya, there's too much inequality in Nigerian system, unlike in UK and other nations where reasonable people are leading. So on that note, I'll say a very good morning. Don't touch the dial. It is still Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock for more news out of Nigeria. I will be giving more information on the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari in Lagos today, tomorrow, when we come back on air.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yomi. Have a blessed day.
Bye for now.
Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our London studios.
In Lagos today, tomorrow, when we come back on air.
Okay. Have a blessed day.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Starr in the UK. It is now 10 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. As we come back, we'll continue with the show. I am Archie. Don't you go away. Let's enjoy some music from Sonny Okuson. You know what I'm going to be playing, don't you?